So when Return of the Jedi came out, I was like 7 years old, and a friend and I entered a trivia contest down at the mall, and we won second place, and we both got a huge dishwasher-sized cardboard box full of Star Wars merchandise. I could not have been more excited about it, and then I opened it up, and 95% of it was Darth Vader belt buckles and Princess Leia shampoos and like one IG-88 figure. But we still got second place.
My favorite part in Star Wars is the trash compactor scene where Luke, Han, and Leia start cheering, but C-3PO still thinks that they're being slowly crushed to death.
I remember being a kid and coming home from a Star Wars movie and being very excited about lightsabers.
In college, I was super stoked for episode 3 to come out, but then I took a really hot date out to see the movie and she really hated it. It was super violent and it was just a flop.
My favorite part is when the guy with the big head crashes into the control panel.
Dude, that's from Spaceballs.
What are we talking about?
When I was a kid, I used to go dumpster diving at the egg factory looking for artifacts that would give some clue as to what was happening in the next movie. And I never actually found anything except once I retrieved a message pad that had a phone message indicating that Steven Spielberg had called and please call him back. And that was, I think, after Empire and before Raiders of the Lost Ark. And I eventually stopped doing that.
In preparation for this story, I watched all 6 movies in one weekend. It was exhausting.
My favorite scene in Star Wars are the opening credits from episode 4. I remember seeing it in the theater as a kid, and every time I see it since then, I still get that same emotional charge that I did that very first time.
So my favorite part is where Vader is commissioning all of the bounty hunters to chase Han Solo. All of these crazy reptilian and robot characters that you never see anywhere else in any of the movies. Yeah, those guys are my favorites.
Okay, I'm just gonna say it. I heart Jar Jar Binks.
I'm here to defend Star Wars Episode 1. Sure, it had annoying characters like Jar Jar Binks and terrible racing scenes, but it had the most badass character in the entire saga, Darth Maul.
As an 8-year-old Star Wars fan, I used to trim out little paper Ewoks, tape them to the bottom of my paper airplanes to recreate those Endor scenes.
My favorite Star Wars moment is the part in Empire where Lando gets eaten by the sand monster, because I never liked that guy.
I'd say in Empire, when Lando Calrissian betrays Han Solo, something about when that door opens and Darth Vader stands up in that all-white room and Boba Fett comes in behind and Han Solo, without even thinking, pulls his blaster out, opens fire, and Darth Vader just blocks it with his hand. Everyone in that scene is an utter badass.
So me and my roommates were sitting around. I recently purchased a projector and we were watching the Star Wars films, the original ones. And we sat around talking about how when we were kids we didn't get to see it actually in movie theaters, but all of us actually very distinctly remember the size of the TV that we watched it on. And me and my brothers, when we were kids, watched it on a TV about this big. So it was a much better experience this time around.
Best line from Star Wars, when Han Solo slices open the Tauntaun and says, "I thought they smelled bad on the outside."
Just shortly after I turned 21, I went to a science fiction convention in Florida, and I was dragged up to a room party by some of my friends. That's where I saw the Star Wars Holiday Special on VHS. And I'd heard rumors about this, and this was pre-internet. I got to see B. Arthur as the owner of the cantina and the original appearance of Boba Fett. They didn't want to be there. They were contractually obligated to be there. And because of it, it makes almost the perfect thing to watch as a Star Wars fan if you're intoxicated. If you're watching it sober, it's horrible.
My favorite Star Wars moment is, well, I actually haven't seen them.